we go. I do believe we're live once again, so I'll say indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. It's always a dear pleasure having you here for these moments, for these opportunities for us to consider, for these chances to dig ourselves out of the dark. Today's stream topic is about exactly that. We went and we gave our consideration, thinking about the tools we have in our lives that help us dig out of the dark. One of my most used tools is this remembrance that darkness isn't something separate from me, right? And in that way, other people aren't either. And all of the darkness that I can think I perceive can technically just be seen as perspective, all right? And in seeing it as my perspective, I can see it as something I can integrate, right? We had this very beautiful point, and I feel like that's one I really want to share, is to see darkness as something you can spend time with. And in the same way as you spending time in darkness with your eyes open and your eyes slowly but surely adjusting, and then you can suddenly start making out faint sources of light in a way that you weren't able to before. Spending time with your own darkness, integrating your own darkness in that way, won't take it away, but will give you more sensitivity to appreciate, or maybe a better word, to change or understand the parts of you that usually does go unnoticed, right? The parts of you that is selfish, the parts of you that is fearful, the part of you that is doubtful, the part of you that has no hope, right? Becoming more and more aware of the darkness, we become more and more aware of that part of ourselves. And again, it's not like that part is suddenly going to go away, cease to be, but we will be more equipped. We will be more aware every single time that darkness arises again. One of the things that Mr. Merkabastic shared in the previous stream is that he's been more gentle. Hey, Joy. He's been more gentle with the side of him that is darkness. And to that I replied, I feel I have been more gentle as well. And that gentleness looks like, instead of just trying to get away from it, trying to set a new precedent, think about something else. Hey, Shan is here too. Hey, and Jovan. Love you. So much lovin's. We can just be with that, right? We can pay attention to it in a way that we might not necessarily want to. I know I am definitely a victim of that too. But ask it questions instead, ultimately. Right? This thing I think can be dark arises, this feeling, this thought. Ask it questions. Why am I feeling this way? Right? I feel like that is such an important question to ask ourselves. Why am I feeling this way? And I feel more often than not, you'll learn that maybe sometimes at least your feeling is overblown, exaggerated. Exaggerated might be the right word. I think especially with us being as interconnected as we are as people, our feelings are, by that definition, exaggerated, because we're not just feeling as ourselves anymore, right? We're feeling as collectives. Those feelings, I believe, get amplified if you tune into those frequencies, right? It's again a matter of, it's a part of the everything. It's a part of your shadow. Every single person that you dislike in the world, that you despise, that you feel a sense of animosity towards, have within them a shadow that you might not want to see in yourself, right? And again, it's usually that shadow that we hate. It's not the fullness of that person, right? If you had to have infinite perspective, and you had to, the person that you hate, pick out of their lives all of the times they were kind to a loved one or a friend or a family member or an animal or a flower, right? Like maybe they weren't always, but if you had to cherry pick every single good thing your worst enemy did, right, you wouldn't be able to hate that parts of them too, right? Maybe your hatred is strong enough. What do I know? Right? Yeah, I hate the way he waters flowers. Fuck that guy. Maybe who knows? But the point I'm trying to make is that there are parts of us that feel darkness towards. There are parts of us that other people will hate as well. There are parts of ourselves that we might even hate in that way, right? And I feel again, integrating our darkness again, not seeing it from a perspective of like, oh yeah, this part of me that's dark, I'm gonna lean into it and be darker, but oh, Joe, giving memberships. You're so freaking generous. Love is true. Thank you. I keep losing my train of thought just a little bit. Let me get it back. Taking a deep breath instead. Darkness. Seeing it as not separate. Yeah, yeah. Philosophies. Just like that. Love is true. Hey, now I can see Extos actually got a membership. Gary Lee and Yeet Lord and Connor and Nancy too. That's some high accuracy show like that. Hey gangs, all here, sending you lovin's. Show. So nice having you here. Jovan is gonna have some yoga again today. If you have any extra energy in your mind to send, just imagine Jovan having the most beautiful day. And if you've done that, then imagine yourself having the most beautiful day. And then the person next to you and the person next to them. Embracing your darkness. There we go. I think I found my train of thought again. Embracing your darkness doesn't look like leaning into the darkest parts of yourself. Embracing your darkness looks like spending more time with it, right? Allowing yourself to spend time with it. And I feel that is so hard. I'm willing to acknowledge that, right? Taking a moment to meditate on your own darkness is not something everybody wants to do, right? It's not something that is actively enjoyed. I'm willing to acknowledge this as well. But in doing that, you are embracing your shadow side. It's almost again, and I'm gonna say this a few times because I want to remind myself of it as well. It's a knowing of yourself. It's getting to know yourself by inquiry, by asking questions. That's ultimately the only way you can really find things out, right? Even from yourself. Even from yourself, you have to ask questions. Hitler loved animals and art. He was still an evil bastard. Yeah, but again, like talking about hatred, right? Do I hate Hitler? No, I don't. I don't feel anything about Hitler, to be completely honest, right? Hitler to me is an evil person that used to be in that way, right? I feel, because again, if we're talking about polarities, hate and love are amongst the same polarity, right? In that as an experience. If I hated Hitler, I would be actively thinking about him and giving him my soul energy. If I loved Hitler, I would be actively thinking about him and giving my soul energy. And I just don't, right? I am completely indifferent towards that character. And I'm like, yeah, how about we don't? And then I move on with my life. Again, and I'm not advocating for forget about history, quite the contrary, but I don't know if it's helpful to almost like render. I think of it as like rendering. Like you are a supercomputer, and everything you think about is very valuable because you are using a supercomputer to render, right? To like use energy and then compute and kind of outcome. And then computing with my supercomputer, the outcome of Hitler seems a little bit counterproductive, right? Like I could do anything. I could think about ways to help people. I could think about ways to make the world more beautiful. I could think about so much else, and now I'm thinking about this. I have been summoned, Yeet Lord. You have been gifted membership. You are now a part of the. I will now. I'm not saying anything. You are now one of us. That sounds better. Yes, one of us. One of us. I hope chakra studying was super stellar yesterday, Jobo. Feeling the hearts just opening more and more. Though thought precedes energy, energy precedes matter. There is darkness, but the more we reel in it or lean into it, the more we allow it to arise. It is fine to know it's there. It is fine to address it. But I think it's also very important to put just as much focus on the hope for a resolve to it. Beautifully said, Joe. And in the previous stream, we actually came to this point of having a conversation about how darkness in that way arise from it. Fine to address it. I feel like I had like something, and then it completely switched my mind. I heard like a little notification sound. Thought precedes energy. Energy precedes matter. There is darkness. Yeah, there we go. The transformation aspect, right? To realize that in darkness, as soon as you give any focus to it, right? And you did mention not to give too much focus to it, but as soon as you give any focus to it, it is transformed by your focus, right? Your focus in that way is like a flashlight that you shine onto or into this darkness that you think you're perceiving. It's almost like thinking there's a monster in the room, and then you turn on the light to find out it's actually just the empty room, right? That's kind of what the darkness does sometimes. You can focus, you can like keep giving focus to that part of you that believes, oh, there's a monster in this room with me. Or you could get focused to the part of yourself that flips on the light switch, right? And it is energy. Yay, bless again. Yo, Joe met Ryan. Is this true? And I bet it was like all the Care Bears holding hands in a circle and doing the Care Bear stare, releasing all the love and light upon the universe. I so love the fact that me and you had like this comic way of almost like trying to describe what we imagine meeting Ryan was like. So me and Jovan had a phone call last night, and we talked about her meeting Ryan and her getting almost like starstruck, by his presence. And I was like, yeah, Ryan probably was just like so gentle and like smiling and looking at you with bright eyes, looking at you like he sees your soul, and like heavenly sounds, like him being like an angel, just like, oh. And then I see you going down that rabbit hole too, Joy. That's awesome. Joy, I was almost starstruck to meet Ryan yesterday. He's so chill. Yay, bless. My darkness today is not wanting to go to work. Yeet, Lord. My mind is trying to find a way to embrace this darkness. Right? Maybe go to work today with the intention of like taking a moment every now and then to almost like focus on that darkness of you. Right? It's like for every 50 minutes you work, spend 10 minutes just focusing on darkness. News report, Yeet Lord killed a bunch of his coworkers. No, please, I'm not like that. Don't focus on the darkness like that. Just giving the darkness some room to breathe. Giving yourself some room to breathe. I'm sorry, Yeet Lord. I do feel you on that. Yeah. Not wanting to go to work. I had a moment like that today, I also got some work done. And before I sat down to get the work done, there was a moment in me of like, I could do it tomorrow. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it right now so that I can feel by tomorrow that it has been done. And then I did it. And it took me not that much time, right? And I felt a sense of pride. I found like, yes, it's good. Good, we did it. Hello, peeps. Hello, Nancy. It's nice having you. It's my busy season. I hear you, Yeet. Yeah, that exhaustion. I feel there is some energy to be had in showing up and getting there and being like, okay, fine, here I am. There's a monster at the end of this book. Was my favorite as a kid and a favorite for my kid. There's a monster at the end of this book. I haven't read that one myself, Mr. Merkabastic, but that is interesting. The book telling you a monster is coming, and you as a child and your child both loving that knowing, slowly but surely showing up for that exploration. Hey Google, tell me about the kids' book, There's a Monster at the End of This Book. By John Stone. It's a pretty big one. Even if you don't run into a monster, it's not the end of the world. Failure is a part of growth. In fact, it's where most innovation happens. Kids can learn emotional awareness and empathy as they listen to Grover's anxiety about the upcoming monster and then his relief at finding only himself at the end of the book. Even more, yes, even more to learn. Do not do tomorrow what can be done today. Sensei Wu. Lego Ninjago. And I took that seriously, bro. So seriously, dude. And it's nice. It kind of helps, Cheat Lord. It feels good. When you did today what you were thinking about doing tomorrow, it's like, yeah, now I got tomorrow to do other things if I wanted to, if I opted into. Right back at you, Nan. Hey, Nan friend. Joy Vives, good to see you. So much love. Oh, relief. Relief in finding only yourself at the end of the book. What what darkness do you fear in the future? What darkness do I fear? I fear heat. I fear being so hot that I don't want to move. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Because I fear not embarrassment, at least. Maybe I do a little bit. Maybe I fear embarrassment when it matters, you know? Maybe I fear not knowing when it matters. That's something to fear as well. What other monsters? The monster of separation, the monster of not getting to close the gap in one way or another. Is Jovan here? Thanks for the gift membership, girlfriend. She is, and she has been giving so much love to this community. Thank you, Jo. The monster in the room is the cold that will bite me once I get out from underneath the blankets. My darkness is my impatience and longing for comfort. You see, I feel in spending time with that, I don't think that's a dark thing to have. You know, in a world where we are convinced of certain schedules and certain ways of doing things, you not wanting to follow that schedule can interfere, right? I feel like if you're interfering with other people's schedules, that to them can be seen as a monster. But you wanting the comfiness of a blanket when it's cold outside, I don't know if that's a monster. I'm not trying to make less, of course, if this is your monster. And I have that monster too. But I've never seen it as a monster necessarily. Maybe I should. Spending more time with it. Feel like it's a very simple monster at least. Makes very sense. It's like, yes. I get it, bro. Me too. I also just want to stay under the blankets. Hey, Bedell, bless you. Also, kind of jinx on the temp monster things. Synchronicities. Uh, yeah, true. I was like light and dark, and you were like cold and warm, and we both went for the monster in the room fractal. Have you had blueberry pie? I like pumpkin pie though. I've never had blueberry pie. I haven't had much pies in the way that you friends have them in America. I think we have something called shepherd's pie, which I don't think is pie either. Like that's mash with mince on it, right? Cake drops the mic and leaves. Yeah, cake is. I've had a lot more cake, right? And if I have to go by that alone as a metric, cake is better because of the sheer volume of cake I've had. I've had like, that's the joke. I've had maybe 2 or 3 like slices of pie in my entire life, right? Collectively, and then cake would be meter volume, just like standing next to me or something. I fear over compliance. Like that is something I want to hear more about. Are you scared? Are you fearful that you would be expected to overly comply? Or are you fearful that you will overly comply? I feel one is in your control and one is out of your control, right? And the fear can be more or less reasonable in that way as well. Grape pie is a real vibe. Grape pie, even more synchronicities. I didn't know that was a thing either, but we have a lot of grapes here at home right now. I mean, not gonna lie, depression is a sucker. Sometimes getting out of bed is truly the monster. Yeah. That's also true. And if you manage to get out of the bed, I'm so proud of you for fighting and defeating your monsters, dear friends. Joy wins. Yeah, cake. Drops mic and leaves. Come back, Joy V. Where are you going? I fear overcompliance. I want to know more about that, bro. I have mixed feelings about pie. Yeah. I want to make a joke of like, I want a slice, but people keep giving me 3.14. Oh, I keep asking for pie. All I want is a slice, but they keep telling me 3.14. Okay, stop. I can feel all of my newly acquired mosquito bites. I'm losing my mind a little bit. I wish they would explode. It's a real thing. Grape pie? I also didn't know about it to be true. Is it depression when it's negative degrees? It seems the better option is to stay in bed. Yeah, I want to almost address that too, Joy V. I feel we as a society expect things of ourselves, right? We have formed this cyclical system of labor, and come hell or high water, we want that cycle to continue as it is, right? Because it is predictable, and being predictable means that we can put things on spreadsheets, and when we can put things on spreadsheets, we can cost average, and we can, get more financing, and we can keep feeding this machine, right? And like again, trying to convince a company that, hey, bro, it's winter right now. People don't want to get up at 7 a.m. on a winter morning out of their beds, right? At the very least, let them sleep in until like 10 a.m. Let them come to work at 11, during the winter. It's not something they're going to be like, okay, that is something we're going to have to, like ask for. Something we're going to have to normalize. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ask for some pets. Some pet pettins. Mm-mm-mm-hmm. Damn yeet. Yeah, that's a biggie. And again, like I have experienced, unfortunately, bouts of depression as well. It was way worse when I was 16. That was when it kind of peaked for me with my attempts and stuff as well. And even during those days, I would be, in that case, more depressed during the winter months. Right? So I don't think the cold in and of itself is completely, or depression in and of itself is directly linked to temperature alone. But I definitely think it adds to the scale a little bit, right? Pushes its thumb a little bit on that scale of yours. Therapist, grape pie isn't real, it can't hurt you. Grape pie exists. The more you know. I'm guessing it's probably like raisins. They probably use raisins or some sort of jam made of raisins, for the pie. I don't imagine them using the whole grapes with all of that liquid in them. But what do I know? Maybe that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. I still have to take all the doggos out, regardless of temperature. Wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago. There we go. Oh. So maybe in that way as well, like having something that you know you're showing up for is powerful enough to overpower depression, even when we have other forces pushing down on us. Right? Like having dependence on that, having people that care, having things that exist alongside us in this world. The whole non-separation thing again. When did the dogs and cat decide they like pets? And when did we decide that we like giving pets? I think it has been a part of both of our biologies pretty much since inception, right? Since we existed, we've been sensitive, right? Like we can have sensory inputs. And in that way, they get the sensory input of almost like grooming. Like this thing is licking me, taking care of me, cleaning me or whatever. And we have this sense of like oxytocin in touching another living thing. So yeah, I feel like it's like a happy accident. That's in my mind. Like, how about this? We can do this. Pets, wolf. Oh, how about this? Your fur feels nice, right? It's the feeling nice thing. That's oxytocin. This feels nice. That feeling of like, this is nice. Doing this thing. That's oxytocin in my mind. And dogs and us both have the chemical pathways to produce and experience. I already feel like a slave when I work for not enough money to live. So would worry the world isn't changing if I couldn't see it. Yeah, it's happening, dear friend. It is happening. We might go through some growth pains, but all you have to do is continue being. Continue showing up for love every single day, and I trust we'll find ourselves on the other side. I think our bodies do align with the seasons. I think it's natural and necessary for seasonal rest and dormancy. Yeah. Saying directly what I was getting at, Xiao. That's it. I definitely believe that too. Giving ourselves the room to be a little bit more dormant and quiet, to huddle down and stay home for a few weeks because it's not nice outside, right? Like we should be allowed that. I think it's wild that we're the only species on Earth that pays to be on it. Especially you being a lover of the Burbies, right? You've seen it for yourself, the way they live so freely in this world. And here we are paying just to exist. I've been starting to study this stuff. My co-worker gives me her textbooks. She's doing animal behavior school. Nice. Learning how to manage them doggo energies as well. And I believe in doing so, probably learning how to manage your own. Learning how to carry yourself. Learning how to fight the darknesses. Pippi, come here. I see a tick on your neck. What's this? Look at that. Just got it. Yeah. Is there another one right there? I see. There's another one there. She's actually trying to show me. There you go. I got it. I got it. I got both of them. Look at her looking. Oh, yes. You see that? They were trying to eat you. These little monsters were trying to eat you. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I'm going to make them one with the earth. I'm going to reintegrate them onto the dirt. They have been integrated. Pippi ate them too. Mm-hmm. We are the only species that accepts money as real. Yeah. Things have value because we believe they do. Right? And convincing every single person on planet that one thing has value over another. My goal is to, in my own life and to myself, convince everyone the value of a human life. Right? I have to convince myself of the value of others' human lives. I have to convince myself of my own human life. And I have to convince everyone else of the amount of value there is in their life as well. Right? I feel like that is the cliff notes of the job I'm here to do. Sharing the love that is true, right? Oh, for sure. I see a lot of psychology applies to humans and has given me a lot of aha moments. Absolutely. Stay warm, eat friend. So much love to all of you. Time to work. See ya. Only 10 Fahrenheit. That also doesn't help. Jeez. It's going to be fascinating, literally. It's nice that you're back, Shan. It really is. Getting to share in these moments. I appreciate you, friends, for sharing in this moment with me. Love is true. You got to show up once again for that truth. Right? Getting to be present. Getting to be kind. Getting to practice the parts of us that digs ourselves out of the darkness. Giving ourselves some time to be with our darkness. We do that in the stream. Be with our darkness and try and learn from it. I appreciate you, friends, for all of your teachings to me. I love you. I'll see you, friends, again soon, tomorrow.